How about that? Sending a tweet right as we get set to start the show here during Derby Week. Track Announcer Chris Griffin here in the Parx Racing studio. Welcome back. Welcome back to another week of live racing. I got the Derby shirt on. We got Kentucky Derby week, obviously. Across the nation, people are preparing for the Kentucky Derby, which will be run on Saturday. We're going to have all of our coverage. We're going to have live racing. We're going to be able to watch and wager on the races. We're going to talk about some selections a little bit later on. Had a little bit of a scheduling conflict. Craig Donnelly might be joining me later on the show, Hall of Famer, but he does have some picks in, so I'm going to take a look at some of his picks, and then I'm going to go ahead and give my selections, or the winners, as you might like to call them, and we'll kind of go head-to-head in that matchup there with our selections here on out of the gate. Shout out to the best TV crew in the business, but let's take a look at what happened last week. This is the Parx Playback.
Parx Playback time, here we go. I mean, this horse is just the best there probably ever is. Condescending, and Frankie Pennington won the first two-year-old race of the season. Paige McKenney handicapped Kendra Carmouche with a victory for trainer Michael Pino. For the Love of Bourbon won impressively over champion PA Brett Barron. Tip your bartenders. Not a donut, not a bear claw, but a Cinnabunny. Jorge Ruiz and Kyle Lynch, they win another one. This one in the unique Bella State. Owner of a Celtic heart. Dexter Haddock this time for Uriah St. Louis. Easy winner on Tuesday. Will the dynamic duo be called to the winner's circle? Commissioner G gives Everton Smith another winner at Parx. Wednesday action, Talented Man is just striding away. Talented apprentice Andy Hernandez continues a big year. And Michael Moore, there's that man again. She's back. Sweet Wilhelmina with Jockey of the Week Frankie Don't Call Me Chad Pennington aboard was back at Parx, and she strolled with a dominating effort. Have a great week.
Let's take a look at race number 1, 6 furlongs of distance, maiden 25,000. Let's see, again, Craig's selections. He's going to go 3-1-4 in here. He's going to go with the George Weaver trainee, second time out, Kendra Carmouche. I'm going to go against in this spot. I do think that the horse is coming over here from Aqueduct, Pennsylvania bred. So you do see this sometimes. Horses that have run in New York, now they're being PA breds, they come on over here to Parx and then they're going to race. They race at the maiden $25,000 level. Kendra Carmouche slated to ride here in the opener on a Monday. I'm going to go with Enforcer, give the horse one more chance, has early speed. So he will go with the 3-Night Legend. I will go with the 1 Enforcer. Race number 2, 7 furlongs of distance, $7,500 claiming in here. I'm going to go with the 3 McLean's Legacy. He likes the 2 Dang Nabbit. What I will say about that selection, Dang Nabbit, a 3-year-old that's taking on older rivals in here. I'm going to go with the 5-year-old Gelding. Now you get the rider switched here to Dexter Haddock. Dexter Haddock picking up the mount. Cindy Soto was aboard last time out. Horse was really wide. I'm going to have a paddock preview and a tape preview actually taking a look at that last effort. Horse didn't break that well, was a little wide around the turn. I think with a better trip, McLean's Legacy is going to be much closer to that early pace. Hey, we had some big performances by jockeys last week. I might have just mentioned one right now, but let's take a look at what Kim Pratt's also been putting together here for all of our great content on Instagram. And you guys have seen it if you follow us on Instagram. Look at this, a riding triple for Frankie Pennington. He's been very well known here, obviously, here at Parx for a very long time in the region. He had that big win over with Ferrari Kid in that 2 furlong, 2-year-old race that we saw. And these are just some of his winners last week. Big time victory with Road Trip to Nowhere. And then you see Enraged with another victory as well. So Frankie Pennington, he continues to climb up the standings, riding triple. He had that last week right here at Parx, one of our top performers. And I just mentioned him, Dexter Haddock. How about that? He had a close finish there with She Talks Too Much. He had a big win there on Celtic Heart. He had a riding double last week. And how about this? We had to choose which graphic to use because he had a couple days where he had riding double. So congratulations again to Frankie Pennington and Dexter Haddock. Big time performances. And again, if you want to check out some of those graphics and see a lot of that great content, head on over to our Instagram, Parx_racing. Talking about race number 3 in here, Craig's going to go with the number 3 in Lovely Malera. 3-year-old filly that does change location. She's coming from Turfway Park, comes first off the claim for Steve Krebs. I'm going to actually go with the 4 Imagism. I'm kind of surprised that he stays with the 3 in here. I think the 4 mile progression just takes a step forward. Should be tough to handle in this race. So I'll go with the 4 in race number 3 as we take a look at race number 4, I believe, right? We're going to take a look at race number 4 at 6 furlongs, this $5,000 claiming race in here. You take a look at who Craig's top selection is going to be. It's going to be towards the outside here with the number 7, Fast Intentions. This is where we're going to agree. We're on the same page in this one as we take a look at it. I think Fast Intentions, just first off the claim, horse had shown some speed in the last effort at the 7 furlong distance, drops in class, 5-year-old mare, first off the claim. Geron Barbosa, he's been pretty impressive here early on as he's gotten over here to Parx, and he continues to ride very well. I think when you get the Bug Boy aboard, a 5-year-old mare, 19 times at the distance, 6 wins, 5 seconds, 2/3. I mean, extremely consistent horse at this level. I like Fast Intentions. Craig likes Fast Intentions. I think you're going to see a shorter price in that race. Let's take a look at everything we got going on right here, especially on that YouTube channel.
Saturday, May 7th, it's Kentucky Derby Day. And yes, we are racing at Parx. Bring the family for all the fun in the Parx Picnic Grove. Who loves live music? A DJ from 10 to noon, followed by Vinyl Countdown. Don't miss the Kentucky Derby Hat Contest, brought to you by the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association. Urban Village Brewing brings you chomping at the bit. Get a free mug with draft purchase while supplies last. Gates open at 10 a.m. First post at Parx is 12:05. Join us and watch and wager on the Kentucky Derby at Parx Racing.
Back here on Out of the Gate, taking a look at race number 5 as we get into a middle pick 4 sequence. 1 mile and 1/8 is the distance, and Craig and I will agree once again, French toast. Who doesn't love French toast, right? You take a look at the 5-year-old gelding by Tonalist. Takes a slight drop in class here from the 12.5 level down to the $7,500 level. Distance, I mean, you take a look at this field, Mr. Tuttle is going to be 2-1. First off the claim for Michael Pino, but we talked about Mr. Tuttle time and time again. He gets the lead at the top of the stretch. It's whether or not he's going to get the job done and finish that on that afternoon. Could he do it here today? We're going to find out and we're going to see. I'm going to bet against. I do like French toast. Carlos Guerrero, a 5-year-old gelding with the weight break again. Barbosa will be aboard, and a slight drop in class and a beaten favorite too in the last start. I think French toast really a standout in there. We'll see how that horse will fare in today's 5th. We're going to talk about some of the late sequences here as we get into race number 6. But first, we keep talking about the Derby, right? So this was a great time to go back and take a look at an interview with the trainer that had a starter just last year in the Kentucky Derby. Here is our interview with Danny Velazquez.
I was a jockey first. My father's been here many years, Alfredo Velazquez, so kind of like a legacy. And I started riding. I rode professionally here for 5 years. I was like second leading rider, believe it or not. And my dad said, hey, I had a lot of problems with my weight. And he said, if you have problems with your weight, there's many other jobs that you could do here. You could work in the office, you could become an agent, you could become a trainer. You don't have to just struggle with the weight. And I'm like, oh, I'll try training. I stopped riding, and then I realized, wow, I know nothing about horses. Like, I didn't know. I knew how to ride them. I didn't know what it took to actually physically get a horse to the race, and I respect them way more now. I wish I would have known what I know now when I was a jockey, because I could have took that and multiplied it, because I was just very naive at the time.
Danny spoke about where he goes for advice and who he turns to when he's got questions as a trainer.
I go to Dad, and I'm lucky I have John Service right up the street, and I kind of pick his brain. I pick everybody's brain. I feel like this business you learn every day no matter what, and yeah, I definitely need to learn more and more and more. I'm getting better as I progress, and I figure out, you know, even going to the Derby, I figured, oh wow, this is what it takes to get here. This is what you need to do. It was a good experience for me to go and really figure out the lay of the land and what it actually takes to get there.
Brooklyn Strong took Danny V to the Derby in 2021. We asked him about a memorable story from this year's Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I had a moment with Todd Pletcher in the paddock. Just quick, I tapped him on the shoulder because I was like a nervous wreck, and I said, hey, does this get any easier? And he looked at me and said, Danny, this is the toughest race in the world to win. It doesn't get any easier. And I said, oh, wow, that makes me feel great.
Danny has a passion outside of racing, but in a way, it also goes hand in hand.
Huge MMA fan. I do mixed martial arts. I do Krav Maga. I haven't been training because of my shoulder, because of the injury I had here, but yeah, huge MMA fan. I use a lot of fighting analogy in my interviews, and I don't know if it comes up crazy, but no, I feel like sometimes I train my horses. I know it's for a horse race, but in my head it's for a fight. Like they're going to go out there, they have to fight other horses, they have to dig deep into their soul to really get a win, and I take that into account all the time.
As a young, up-and-coming trainer, Danny's got some advice
for those getting into training.
Sure, it's your passion. You really gotta love this because it's a roller coaster. It's up and down. It's 7 days a week. There's really no breaks. It's time consuming. It's grueling. It really takes a toll on your family. It's very you got to sacrifice a lot. So just make sure that it's your passion, that you really love it, because it's the greatest game in the sport. And I always feel like I'm not working. I just feel like, I know I'm like working, but I never feel like it's a job. I just feel like I wake up every day and get to do something I love. It's awesome.
It really does get you excited for the Derby when you start talking about the Derby, and we're going to talk about the field, and they're going to take entries here later this afternoon. But as you start getting closer and closer to Saturday, especially since we're going to have live racing here at Parx, looking forward to that. And Danny Velazquez, I'm sure, will be back at Churchill Downs one of these days. Race number 6 furlongs a distance, $12,500 claiming race in here. Craig's going to go 5-6-4, so when you take a look at his selections, Frank and Ducky being the top choice, we're going to disagree in here once again. I'm going to go with the 4-1-9er Tango. I think this horse has got a tactical advantage. Yes, Frank and Ducky's coming first off a claim. Comes from the $7,500 level, steps up to the 12.5, but the horse was running against some older types, some 4-year-olds and upward, and some tougher races there for trainer Jorge Diaz, now first off the claim. We'll see how that horse does improve. Comes off the Ed Coletti Jr. barn. I think 1-9er Tango from that maiden 10 race takes a step up to 12.5. I think the horse also figured something out in the last start, just really put it together on the front end. So we'll see what happens there in race number 6. How about that Philly Big 5? Huge carryover jackpot, over $400,000 now, $402,888.13. Big carryover jackpot. It's a jackpot bet. It's always the last 5 of the day. So get involved in that wager, 50-cent minimum with a 15% takeout in the Philly Big 5. Race number 7, as we take a look at 6.5 furlongs, $15,000 claiming race in here. I'm going to take a look at the number 6 in here, Breezy Gust. Danny Velazquez, we just talked about him. I think he might have a big day. I've got him selected quite a few times. And you take a look at Craig Donnelly's selection. He's going to be on board the 6 Breezy Gust. I like the 6 Breezy Gust. This might be a really tough favorite to kick off the afternoon. When you take a look at this effort, horse has been good, has had that early pace. When you look at the last start, though, that was in the Fishtown $100,000 stakes race behind Hollywood Jet. Horses in the Fishtown for the love of bourbon, comes back after that effort and won the stake here last week. So I think that the Fishtown is coming back really live. I don't care where Breezy Gus finished in that race. I think this horse has every right to improve. Race number 8, 6.5 furlongs is the distance, $15,000 open claiming event in here. Get the W is going to be my top choice. Halim Lee, first off the claim. Sylvester Gonzalez is going to be right next door. So I'm going to be on board the 6. Craig and I would be yelling at each other right now because he doesn't have the horse anywhere on the ticket. He's going to go with the number 5 Excursion. I just wonder how far back Excursion is going to be in this spot. He's a late running type. He's also 0 for 1 at the distance. Get the W is familiar with the Halim Lee barn. 11 starts, 2 wins, and 3/3. I do think that this horse can contend at the distance. That's going to be the number 8 in there. Get the W. So we'll see what happens there in that 8th race. Hey, we had a big performance last week from Guadalupe Preciado, Frankie Pennington. There's that man again. But let's take a look, and everybody stand by, because this was a surprise to me today as well. Here is the performance of the week.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
Join us at Parx for live racing in 2022. The live racing calendar has been released, and Parx will run Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. Starting on May 7th, Parx Racing will add Saturdays to the schedule. Join us on Saturday afternoons for some of Parx Racing's biggest days. Our final Saturday program of 2022 will be on September 24th. That's Pennsylvania Derby and Cotillion Day. For more information, go to parxracing.com
and make plans for live racing from Parx Racing.
That was like Saturday Night Live. That was like the quick change. You ever seen the quick change when it's like boom, 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 everybody's moving around? Look who's here, the Hall of Famer.
I was stuck doing a show called America Lacks Talent this morning, and I actually ran 5 miles to get here, and look, I'm not even breathing.
Look at him. He rolls right in. Hall of Fame handicapper Craig Donnelly. We're running out of time on the show, Craig, but we talked about some of your selections. We didn't see eye to eye on some of them. It did look like Danny Velazquez is going to have a pretty big day. We talk about race number 9. I think we can kind of share PPs, though, when we talk about the race number 9 in here and the number 4, Can't Stop This Man. You like the number 1 in here, Irish Riviera. Was there a reason why you were appointed the Jamie Ness runner?
All right, the reason is I thought there was plenty of speed in the race.
Yep.
Wild Caramello's very fast, other speed in the race. Irish Riviera didn't run as good at Laurel, but if you notice, most of his success is here at Parx. And when he won here in January by 4.5, that was an explosive rally. I think he's going to get the right pace in front of him. It's 6.5 instead of 6, which helps. And I think you'll see him flying with Ruben down the stretch.
Race number 10, when they took a look at it, I mean, this is a pretty competitive field when you take a look at race number 10. And I tend to, Pumpernickel, I feel like maybe I'm kind of not giving that horse enough credit. But Princess Cupid, you and I land on the same horse. And Paco Lopez, you see his name is back now in the pack.
All right, I'm going to give you an update on this, Chris, in this regard. I guarantee you the horses you just mentioned will not lose because they're not running.
Okay.
Okay, I just to tell you, Princess Cupid's out, Pumpernickel's out, Mia Tosca's out, running tomorrow, and Bellolina. So what I ended up with is on this Harvest Moon number 7. She ran into Map of America last time, who just ran out of the TV on a wet track. This was on this Harvest Moon's first race since August. So I've got to believe she's going to make progress off their race. And seriously, the main competition scratched, and if you want to see them run, a couple of them are in tomorrow.
Looking at that race number 10. Another race we're going to look at. I don't even know what number race it is on their schedule, but Churchill Downs Saturday, Kentucky Derby. You take a look at the field. They're going to take they're going to take post positions later this afternoon. Yes. But here's the leaderboard, Craig. And so when you take a look at it, how much have you looked at the race? How much have you evaluated some of the performances going in? We're going to talk about this plenty leading up to Saturday, on Saturday as well. But who's jumping out to you off the page here that looks like a big contender?
Couple things. One, what makes this race so fascinating to me is that none of these horses have ever run 1.25 miles. None of them will probably ever run 1.25 miles again, a lot of them. There's a 20-horse field they'll never encounter again, and 100,000 people or more around them. My point is this: despite all that, it's the race everybody wants to win. It's the greatest, most famous race in the world. I'm leaning, and I like 10 horses in here, so you can't play them all. I'm going to pick Zandon because I was impressed by his bluegrass. He was in traffic. He literally was last at the 3/8 pole. Flavian Prouder was riding as good as anybody, went weaving through traffic and just cruised away at the end. I know Epicenter beat him. At the fairgrounds, but I think Zandon's improving, but Epicenter is an obvious threat too, and there's several other contenders.
When you're taking a look at this board, first off, the first thing I'm going to ask you is who goes favorite? I mean, who do you think is going to be the favorite? I think a lot of people are on Zandon. Epicenter just seems like he hasn't missed a beat. He also seems to follow a trend that whoever's got the most points, they just seem to always contend and they're going to be there. I like his running style quite a bit. Who do you think goes off favorite? Is it between those top two?
I think actually what I'm kind of looking for is Epicenter will be favored, and the odd thing is Steve Asmussen's won 9,700 and something races, 0 for 23 in the Derby, but I think Epicenter is last. He beat some of these key horses. He did it decisively. I think he'll be favored. Second choice I think will be Zandon, or possibly a lot of action you're going to see for Taba, who just destroyed the field at Santa Anita. Yeah,
you take a look at Siren Eye, if you talk about his effort. I actually went down there and I saw that effort when he won his prep in the Arkansas Derby. Crown Pride, the Japanese horse, the pedigree is there. It seems like the horse is taken well to Churchill Downs. Do you have many thoughts on some of the runners that are shipping in, like Crown Pride, that seems to be tearing up the track in the mornings from a training standpoint?
Well, what I don't know is I have a difficult time. He shows good efforts in the United Arab Emirates and Japan.
Sure.
That may be terrific, and you do notice the Japanese have been doing better and better in the Breeders' Cup races. Their stock is improving, so you can't just ignore this horse. But I'd rather go with some horses I'm more familiar with. This is a guess for me, and I'm just going to have to go. I think another live horse we didn't mention yet is Brad Cox's Cyberknife, who's by the 2016 Horse of the Year Gun Runner, $400,000 purchase. I think you have to respect his chances too.
When you take a look at the Kentucky Derby and you're trying to put together some of your wagers and whatnot, I mean, are you more of a vertical player? Are you taking a look at the multi-leg wagers? Are you trying to key in on some of these horses? I know a lot of people attack this race and they want to box some superfectas. They want to take a look at some of your trifectas. You do get some value. Look, there's 20 horses in the field. It's just going to take that one big long shot. The horse that's really been picking up the pieces and some steam here is the 13 on the list. There is Barber Road. Fast closing type. Messier also seems like kind of the forgotten horse. He follows a bit of a same pattern that we saw with some of the other Derby winners from the West Coast as well. Ran okay in the Santa Anita Derby, was beaten by his stablemate. Messier seems like he might be coming up to a nice performance as well.
I have to say, when Messier ran in the Santa Anita Derby, when I saw him in the paddock, I thought, there's the winner.
Right.
He's a big, strong, strapping horse. But Tiber ran right by him. But you can't just off one race throw Messier out. But one other horse we didn't mention, and there's, by the way, first of all, let me say, the best way to bet this race to me, I wouldn't suggest anybody takes 2 or 3 to 1 in a 20-horse field.
Sure.
The thing to do is really go exact the box and get at least one bomb in there. Don't, try to get one in there that's going to make the price good. I think that's the best way to go, even if you use 3 or 4 horses. But one other horse we didn't mention is Smile Happy. Smile Happy was actually favored over Epicenter and Zandon in the Risen Star and Bluegrass. Still finished second as the favorite, so he ran well. He was favored over these 2 horses. No reason to throw him out yet. So there are a lot of live contenders.
They're going to be taking entries a little bit later this afternoon, or taking post positions, I should say. How much does the post position matter to you where your horse is going to be?
The most important, the one post is always said to be bad because what happens is they break and 19 horses are crossing over trying to get position.
Which changed a little bit because they changed the configuration when they went to the one gate.
But you know what, it's still a bit difficult. The other thing you get, let's face it, it is so important to start first like 20 yards out of the gate. You get shuffled back in your 18th going the first turn.
Yep.
Best of luck to you.
Yep.
I mean, it's a case where you need an alert start, and even if you have a closer, you want to be able to get some position. I'd rather be outside and in the clear than in behind 10 horses saving ground. It's almost worth just steering a little wide to maintain, clear running room. Because when you're picking a horse like Zandon, he's going to have to come from behind. But there is plenty of speed. But let's face it, he's got to get lucky and get the right trip and get through traffic.
Last thing that I'm going to ask you, do you just go in with whoever you like? That's who you're going to select? Because we do our selections ahead of time. But is your opinion going to change very much maybe the days leading up or on Saturday itself for the Derby?
I don't think it should change because I've stuck with these horses for about a week. But I mean, the post position could make you go, uh-oh, I liked him and now he's stuck in number 18 or and that's the case. But what I'm more likely to change my opinion is at the quarter pole.
Okay.
At the quarter pole, the 8th pole might become more and more clear who I should have picked.
I don't think wagering changes much in that respect. Are you going to be here Saturday?
Absolutely.
Are you going to be here Saturday? Let's talk about Kentucky Derby Day at Parx here on Saturday, May 7th. Gates open at 10. First Churchill race at 10:30. First Parx race post time is going to be 12:05. Family fun, a DJ. Craig's going to be down there dancing, I think, from 10 to about 10:05, I think he said. Final countdown from 1 to 5, chomping at the bit. Great to have the Pennsylvania Horse Racing Association joining us that day as well. Got a hat contest. You wearing a hat?
No, but I will be drinking beer between 10 and 11. You'll see there.
Hat contest will be coming your way as well. Some people call him the Brad Pitt of handicapping. Did you hear that nickname?
Actually, they call me the ugly Brad Pitt of handicapping.
That's all right.
That guy has been removed.
He's Craig Donnelly. I'm Chris Griffin. Thanks again for sticking with us here through this entire show here of Out of the Gate. Thanks to my man Craig who jumped in for the second half. But great analysis, my brother, there on the Kentucky Derby. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to getting back here on Saturday. Hopefully we stay away from some of that wet weather. There's some rain possibly on Saturday, but looking forward to some sunshine. And if you want to follow us on social media, check him out at Brad Pitt Horse Racing Handicap. No, that's not your handle. At Parx Racing, at In the Grandstand on Twitter. Hit us up on YouTube. Hit that subscribe. Follow us at Facebook. Parx_Racing on Instagram. Craig, I'm going to let you get the last word before we get out of here and have a happy Derby week.
The last word is plan your betting schedule. Don't just come in here and start going wild. Take some time before you arrive and plan your strategy with whatever bankroll you have.
Free parking, free admission. We'll see you here 10 a.m. Gates open on Saturday. It's Kentucky Derby Day, but it's some great racing as well. 11 races coming up right here at Parx.